Everybody, thank you for joining us today. We're having a webinar today about the Chief Information Security Officer officering that TrustMe announced recently. We're really excited to have the industry's first AI-enabled CISO platform. We think this is something that's really not been done before. I think having sort of a CISO, having a security team can be really complicated. And what we're really trying to do is make it simpler for companies of any size to sort of get the security support that they need from a offering like this. Eunice, next slide. And so before we get started, I just want to really, again, plug our resources page. So if you go to TrustMe.ai, visit the resources tab, you'll find links to webinar replays for sessions like today, as well as blogs, which sort of go into this sort of stuff in more detail. And so we're really excited to sort of have you guys today, and we're going to continue our webinar series with a number of events in January around SMB security and really what we can do around risk and security. Next slide. And so on that note, let me turn it over to our panel of industry veterans who will be sharing sort of more of the perspective about sort of the CISO role and what TrustMe specifically can do. And so let me take the opportunity to introduce Yunus Aftab, founder and CEO of TrustMe, Mir Islam, the Chief Technology Officer, and Clifford Khan, the Head of Architecture and Solutions. So Yunus, please take it away.
Thanks, Larry. Really excited to showcase our new offering. We believe not only it's industry first, changing the landscape quite a bit, but also something super useful, something that adds value to you from day one. Why are we launching this offering is super important to understand. Security risks remain some of the most difficult skills to acquire, and there is a huge gap in the industry, and that gap is only going to grow. We are looking at millions of unfilled positions, and for people who understand security, that number will grow because of all the different challenges that are coming into the marketplace. People don't have complete understanding of security, and even if they understand certain aspects of it, they're not necessarily in a position to do every single task there is to do that could affect a company's business. A lot of times it can have catastrophic impact. Even if you manage to find the right people, and we've looked at certain conservative estimates, it's very expensive to put a team together. If you are a small, mid-sized company, these are just starting points. So before you even think about what you're going to do, you have to staff up a team, you have to bring those people together, you have to make sure that they can cover all the different aspects of security. So we are looking at spending millions of dollars before you even get some basic protection, before you even can get some basic guidance in place. And that really sparked our desire to offer industry's first platform that not only does it for you, but also does it with expert guidance. This team often will have to be headed by somebody who can orchestrate all these things together. And typically that person is called the Chief Information Security Officer. For the companies who don't have one, they end up having a different person. They end up having somebody do it part-time. They will end up having somebody wearing multiple hats. And we have decided to bring all that together. We have decided to bring all those different aspects in one place, in a place which is unified, it's automated, and it's easily accessible. When you don't have these offerings, you often are at risk in places you don't know. A CISO is typically somebody who's going to orchestrate these things together. They will be the ones buying the tools. They will be the ones putting together budgets. They will be the ones orchestrating the required skill set and ensuring all those different aspects are captured. There are services out there that will only try to tackle this problem from a human perspective. They will provide you a virtual CISO of sorts and do something that is manual. And that is often looked as a stopgap solution. You might run it once, you might work with somebody at once, but the humans are humans. They tend to miss things. They will often not able to provide those capabilities, perform those duties on an ongoing basis in a way that can avoid all the different risks that come to your business. risks are only growing by the day. You have risks in your application and infrastructure. You have potential legal challenges that could stem from licensing. You have databases that you're buying. You have storage. You have content issues. Every single digital endpoint, every digital single asset can create those risks. And it is something that is not static. You have to have knowledge of all the different things that are going on in the industry. You have to have knowledge of all the different risks, how they can come together and affect you tomorrow. You might have a security issue that has been there for years and it might become exploitable one day, and suddenly you are at risk. All these things are evolving dynamically. These are growing things. Somebody has to be looking at these things. And if you don't have the fully staffed security team, if you don't have a spend of going out there and buying all the different tools, how do you put it all together? These vulnerabilities are potentially come with catastrophic consequences. Not only they can damage your company from a technical perspective, but it can damage reputation. If you have data breach because of certain security vulnerabilities that are on your system, that affects the trust that you built with your customer. If you have had an incident and you have not communicated to your customers, that can affect the trust and reputation for customers. So these risks, these security issues are not slowing down. This is where TrustMe comes in, and we have the ability to, with our next generation platform, to help you every step along the way. If you are a typical IT company, even if you're a security company, sometimes you would do this on a shoestring budget. Our head of architecture, Cliff, who have been in the security industry for a very long time, a very known name, having built various different security and networking technologies, has done this in the past on a shoestring. I'll let him share his experience. When you don't have a fully staffed team and you don't have tools, what happens? Cliff?
Thank you, Yunus. I have notes. Let's see, let me find them. So I found myself in a situation where security needed more attention than it was getting, and I began working on making it better. Some of the things that I needed to do is try out different quality checkers, see which one worked well for us. Some of them we used were free ones, but still they needed evaluating. And then some of them we needed to, the one that was good enough for our needs was we paid for, and then I needed to get money allocated, which was a persuasion step in itself. Then installing, configuring the tools, they needed tuning so that they would, not deluge us with more code quality problems than we could possibly address, but tell us about the ones that we were actually going to do something about, get them to run automatically, maybe once a week, and then get the findings to flow into the bug tracking system, because that produced action. Otherwise, if the tool was just running and producing reports, that didn't cause anything to happen. Triage, meaning some expert digging into the vulnerability, the findings of the tools to decide which ones really mattered which ones mattered the most for us. And then keeping after people to get the issues fixed. And so that gets into the next thing on the slide, which is evangelizing and training. Evangelizing, by that I mean letting senior management be aware of the stakes here and persuading them that we needed to spend resources on this, even though it was competing with other things that also needed resources. So, right. And then training, by training, I mean teaching developers to care, because it's not enough for them to be told. We need both a bottom up and a top down. That was my experience, push to get things to happen. Next slide, please. Yes. And but that's all good. That's all good prevention. But in addition, there are going to be attacks, and sometimes some of those attacks will succeed. And so we needed to spend time following threat feeds so we would know about the latest techniques that attackers were using. And then if there was a suspicion of attacks, we would need to spend serious time analyzing logs, which are huge, like millions of lines, and analyzing what happens on the network, and also checking security configurations all the time because people make mistakes and security things are left exposed by human error. And this is we see news that happens in the news on a regular basis. So it's not like it's a theoretical problem. So checking security configurations over and over to make sure that we catch errors and fix them right away. All of this is hard. It's very hard when it's not your full-time job. I can tell you from personal experience. It would be hard for one person if it was my full-time job. It would have been hard if it was my full-time job. It's hard to do, it's stressful. It didn't solve everything. There was still a lot of risk. And in fact, we always seem to be on a treadmill where new vulnerabilities would get reported to us one way or another. And we would fix them, but we didn't seem to be getting out ahead of the problem, at least not enough out ahead of the problem. So TrustMe tools and the platform and the guidance would have helped me make that situation much better. And so that's it.
Thanks, Cliff. I think it's important to sort of remember that industry perspective. When you are running an IT team or you're running a software team or you're running a business, you have to have that visibility. But as Cliff said, sometimes you don't even know where to start. You have to figure out what are the right tools. You have to figure out how are you going to put them in action. And then you need the personnel to essentially watch what's going on. And that's where TrustMe comes in. We provide you an integrated CISO solution. There are solutions out there that will just aggregate everything together. There are solutions out there that will just show you what the data visualizations looks like. We are the industry's first integrated CISO platform. We bring everything together. We do it in a unified way. We make it automated. We take the mystery out of security and risk. We simplify it for you so that you can focus on what's critical to your business. We do that by ensuring that those risks are mitigated all the time, near real-time scoring, so that you can look at what are the trends, what was happening in your environment yesterday, what are the risks that matter to you today. We are providing you that visibility across your business. So not only things that matter and you understood are available to you, but also maybe there are things that maybe you didn't think about, and maybe they are critical to running your business, maybe costing you money. And then take those insights, making them actionable on a daily basis. And lastly, what's important to our earlier point about security being expensive, or earlier point about very difficult to operationalize, we have a special focus on making it all easy to use, and we'll show that in action today. And we do that with expert guidance. So where we need to deploy, where we need to provide basic training, we need to ensure that you are successful with the platform. Unlike other security solutions where you buy it and then somebody uses it one time and they have no idea what to do with it next. This all happens across various different functions, across the assets that are the most critical to your business. We're not only looking at security that is holistic, we're looking at various different aspects of your infrastructure, looking at how could they be vulnerable, how could they be issues from an endpoint perspective, how those issues could be bubbling into efficiency issues. If you have machines that could become threat vectors, if you have machines that could become cost issues for you. So our unique approach allows us to take a view of world where we not only make you on this quest of being more secure, but also save you money along the way. And then when we bring security, we bring efficiency, we bring risk together. We do this with business context to make sure things that are important to your business. And that allows us to not only show you a static list of issues, hey, here are the 50 things that could go wrong, but correlate them, bring them together in a way that contextually tells you, these are the issues that you need to focus on today. These are the issues that could become deal breakers. These are the issues that could become exploitable. So our holistic solution brings it all together. It focuses on simplifying that information in a way that anybody in the organization can understand. And sometimes those issues are checked when they are being created. That's where they're cheapest to stop. So we have a holistic solution. It starts all the way when you're designing your system, all the way when you're writing that first line of code, and ensures that those issues are not becoming major $1 million threats in production. With the CISO offering, we are bringing the best solution, the best platform, making it all in one, tying it with our expert guidance, and providing you in a way that you are not on your own to deploy it. We are there with every step of the way. We help you with discovery. We make sure that the solution works for your environment. The solution is tailored to the key issues that you are facing. It works with your budget parameters. We don't make it but cost prohibitive exercise, but something that scales with you, with your organization, and the budget that is available. And it's end to end. The solutions are parameters that are most relevant to your environment. We ensure those are turned on. We work with you in ensuring that there is a discovery process. There is a process to find out what is most important to you in terms of business. What are some of your weak points? What are some of the things that you worried about? And we ensure that those switches, those capabilities are especially turned on. We are there every step of the way. We will provide you direct expert guidance, but tied with the ability to come back and audit what happened, how it happened, and how it could happen in the future. We help you with full service deployment, ensure that all the connectors, all the platform, all the probes are working in your environment, they're successful, they are providing the right type of data. And we pair that up with training, ensuring that you know how to use our platform on an ongoing basis. You understand what are the best security practices that are relevant to your business. You are not just buying the system, you're buying end-to-end offering. You're buying something that allows you to become more self-sufficient with whatever resources that you might have at place. Now, this will be a theoretical presentation if we didn't show it in action. We think we have built a platform, as I mentioned, the industry first, and Mir is going to show us how this all comes together paired with the expert guidance. Mir?
Yeah, thanks, Yunus. And thank you for all those preludes. So what Yunus mentioned, we have built a one-in-one solution that is going to provide you a holistic visibility within your network, within your coding, development, productivity, and many other aspects. So underneath the cover, the platform is built as an event-driven platform. What I mean by that is that it looks for code commits, security scans, network issues, JIRA, Confluence, and many other things. And then it correlates, aggregates those, from those sources of information, including the probes and scanners, and provides you a easy to use dashboard to take a look and drill down, if there is an issue in there. You are also free to integrate with SaaS DaaS tools that we are providing. Plus, you can bring in any solution that you may like and integrate it with our solution. And all of these things is going to get wrapped into an easy to use and easy to deploy package for you. So you can just download the agent package from a website and install it on your machine and get going within 3 to 5 minutes. And you will have your dashboard ready, and then you can just scan your network, scan your code, and then have a report ready in there. What this is going to do for you and for your company is that provide you a one-stop shop for your operational visibility and reliability. You will be able to know what is happening in the several different corners of your company, and make an assessment that if you are going to take some actions based on those situations and the information that you are gathering. Next slide. And this platform, what essentially it is helping you to do is shift everywhere. You may have heard of the term, you know, shift left. Essentially, what that means is that you are trying to catch quality related issues earlier. Um, we are promoting that we are going to try to shift left everywhere, and that may mean that during your coding, during your deployment of your applications, if you are installing a software on your Windows machine or a Mac or something, and we will catch those, and we will be able to put it in our dashboard for you to know that what is happening. And all of this shift everywhere initiative that we have undertaken is AI enabled. And under the cover, we're using several different mechanisms to help you to get the data that you need. Trust Coach is our one of our LLM based chatbot, which helps you to find the information that you need very, very quickly. Code Wizard, which I will have a demo later on, helps you to find issues early in your codes that you may have committed. Layered security is going to help you to protect against common threats such as ransomware, phishing, and unauthorized accesses. All of these stick together, will be tied into our product and provide you with a holistic visibility in the dashboard. Next. So what I will do is that I will give a demo of the dashboard and show you that how it works, and then in the second demo I'll show you that how our AI-enabled platform detects vulnerability in the source code and then alerts the user early. So if you should stop sharing, then I can share. So what you are seeing on your screen right now is the dashboard that we have. So as an admin, when you log in, you'll see a dashboard like this. You can see that there are four different segments of it: people, perimeter, product, and processes. You can quickly look at the productivity of your teams and see that how they have been doing. And also from the same place, you can look for the code scanning and the vulnerability issues. So I'm going to just look at one of our repository, city backend, and this will give a very detailed information about the developer productivity, how many developers have been active, and what is the level of their contribution. One thing that I want to highlight here is that we have probes everywhere. So we have probes for the Git or SVN. We have probe for AWS and several different other source of data where we are collecting the data and then we are aggregating it for your easy to view in this one place. And one thing that happens is that we are always like scanning your code for any kind of vulnerabilities and security issues. So for example, let me show you a previously run scan from on our, okay. Um, Looks like the application is very secure, so it has logged me out. So I'm just going to log back in and go back there. So just give me a second. Um, okay, so back here, the developer productivity is being shown. But let's take a look at the security scan that we have done before to see that if there are like any issues that was detected by our system. So I'm going to look at the master branch and see that what were the issues that were found in the previous scannings. So there were some vulnerabilities that were found, and the system has like highlighted those so that the developer and the development team can take a look at that and then make appropriate changes to fix those. Similarly, we have like three different categories. We have the vulnerabilities in the code. We have the credential exposure, where you may have leave your AWS access key or any kind of password that you may have hard coded it. So we want to make sure that the passwords or certificates and other sensitive items are not hard coded into your source code. So this is very, very important. And the third thing that we show is the license exposure. That what kind of licenses that you're using for the open source and the other tools that you may have integrated within your environment, and if those have exposed you to any kind of licensing issues. And all your reports will be available in one place where you can look at the comprehensive report or your SAST report or the source code analyzer scan, just like I showed. It will be created into a scan report, and then you will be able to access it anytime you like. This and our platform integrates with your Active Directory and the other source of information for authentication, so that you can have roles, permissions, and the user management all managed from one single different place. When you are like starting, you can get the agent downloaded and then install it on your machine and provide a login information and then get started. With that, I'm going to stop this demo and then show the demo for that, how we do the code scanning using our AI-enabled platform um, to provide the guidance to the developers. So on your screen, what you're seeing is basically a demo of a vulnerable code that the developer has introduced before. So essentially this is a very, very simple code. What it does is that, it takes an input from the user, and then without validating it, it tries to execute it. And that's a command execution flaw, and that can create a very big problem, because if we take the user's input without validating it and then executing it, it can cause severe damages to the systems. Um, so what we want to do is, we want this piece of code to be analyzed by our code wizard. And what code wizard does is that it will try to see that, if it can find any issues, and then it will try to help us to understand that, um, that what kind of changes it can make to the developer can make to make sure that the issue does not exist anymore. So while it's running it, it takes approximately a minute. I want to show that, what is happening in the background. So what happens is that the developer, using their IDE, IntelliJ, Visual Code, or in my case, like I was using the VI on the command line, they'll make the changes in the code. And then they are going to make the commit. And then what happens is that it goes to their SCM. Typically, it is the Git server or Subversion, Perforce, or any kind of other um, source code repository. What happens is that when the code commit is happening, there is a hook that will get executed, and we'll take the file and we'll send it to our code wizard server. In the server, we have a API, and then we have what we call is a TrustMe LLM module, which actually shows evaluates the code and then shows us that okay, if there is any problem or not, and if there is, what kind of changes the developer can make. This thing is then sent back using a notification bus to the developer, and also it will be saved for the future in a place where we can access it, and then look into it, and then train our model even more further. We call that RLHF, or reinforced learning by the human feedback. This feedback also will be accessed by the developers, and they will be able to provide even further feedback to train the model even more. So, so it looks like that this has been done, And what will happen is that the developer will get a email. So email is that in this case it has accurately found out that the eval function that we're using is executing arbitrary code, and so which can be security risk. Is recommended to use a safer alternative such as the AST module or a third-party library for the simple evaluation. So what I wanted to highlight is that the expert guidance, whether be it by our AI modules or by our human personnel, we'll be there for you. We'll be there for you for the several different aspects of your security needs. And as we are integrating all this with our vCISO offering, the expert guidance will be something that will be always there for you. Back to you, Yunus.
Thanks, Mayor. Thanks for showing it in action. And I think there's a lot more to the platform, but we wanted to show certain important capabilities, not necessarily everything, but we can work with you to customize a particular demo and how it might actually work in your environment. Larry?
Great. Thank you, Eunice and Mir. So to sort of wrap up, we just want to sort of, really emphasize that this solution is out in production. It's out being used by customers. And, here are just some of the logos we worked with and some of the testimonials we've had. We've worked with companies from JIF, which is a fintech startup doing, payments out in the Philippines, where we're really, they looked at us to sort of help them with security, but, we ended up doing a lot of work for them, providing them with holistic visibility about the team and really understanding sort of the productivity. And, Amtech's a global manufacturer we've worked with, where we basically helped them to really provide better visibility to their executive management and to the board. Next slide. And so again, to sort of wrap up, I want to sort of, mention that to please come visit our website to sort of, see future events, future blogs that we have starting in January. But that being said, before I sort of sign off, I want to sort of take the opportunity to ask a couple questions for the team. So I guess first question I have is, Eunice, Mir, Clifford, again, like sort of how would you sort of really, emphasize sort of the differences between what, TrustMe is doing here versus other vCISO or other sort of software solutions that are out there today?
Yeah, let me take that one. I think number one, the question is that how are we different from some of the vCISO or other providers? Number one, vCISO, a lot of platform and product offerings are largely human-based. They are dependent on humans' workflows, so they tend to be very expensive. They tend to be manual. They require constant working with the customer. Our goal has been to provide expert guidance, but really do it from a platform-centric approach, provide you as much as tools as possible. It obviously results into a more cost-effective approach. It results into a more holistic and unified approach, but also it reduces the baggage that comes with human interactions. And then there are some services who have platform offerings that can do some basic security, but they tend to be non-integrated solution. They still require you to make investments on tools and probes. Our goal has been to provide integrated offering and really bring that data together to unlock the threats that you might not have thought about. So budget, unification, all-in-one, simplicity, all those are key tenets that differentiate us from some of the human as well as aggregation-oriented offerings.
Great, thank you. Next question, maybe for Mir, for customers who are potentially using code scanners already, like for their GitHub account, do they still need to use code scanners from TrustMe?
So that's a good question, Larry. So some of the Git, and I think that the product they have is called Copilot, and that will provide some suggestions similar to what we have in the Code Wizard offering, and help their developers guide it. However, our product or the feature that we have is all integrated within our platform. It's not just developer centric. What that means is that as the code wizard finds some issues with the code, it can feed back into the ecosystem of the TrustMe platform. And that means that, we can leverage it for other contextual information and purposes that can be utilized for the CISO to give more information. And on top of that, all our solution that we are providing is, everything is together, bundled together. Copilot comes approximately like $10 per month per developer. So if you have a several developer, then it can quickly add up in terms of the cost.
Great, thank you, Amir. Last question is, what does TrustMe CISO do to protect enterprise content? There's a lot of talk about ChatGPT these days, concerns that the conversations aren't private. How does sort of TrustMe address this issue?
So that's actually a very good question, because then I think, several times we have seen in the last few weeks that either people have inadvertently put their code in ChatGPT, causing data leakage. That happened with Samsung, a few weeks back. And I have also heard that ChatGPT is using these conversation to train itself even more. What it means is that your conversation with ChatGPT is not private, even when customers are buying API and paying ChatGPT, OpenAI, to have a private conversation. So that means that your enterprise information can potentially leak outside. So you have to be very careful, how is that, managed. So the way we are managing it with CodeWizard, we also have our own local language LLM models that we train and use it only for the customer who is going to install it in their environment, so that data does not go outside. It just stays inside, and it will use the data that it found in the customer environment to train itself. So that way, we mitigate that risk, quite a bit in our environment.
Great, thank you very much. Well, Clifford, Eunice, Amir, thank you all for your presentation today. I really appreciate it. And for all the attendees who joined us live, we appreciate you joining us today. And so again, just want to sort of reiterate one last time, please follow us on our social media, LinkedIn, Twitter, to sort of stay abreast of the latest webinars and events. Visit our website. We currently have a couple events planned in January talking about security for SMB and enterprise risk. And we look forward to hearing from all of you. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Thank you.